Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Today we're talking Appreciative Interviews, or AI.
AI.
And for our source material, we're going straight to the developers with Liberating Structures, Appreciative Interviews, AI.
Okay.
In this deep dive, get ready to unlock those hidden successes you've got, and it's all going to happen in under an hour.
Under an hour.
Sounds pretty good, right?
Yeah, sounds great.
So this name, Appreciative Interviews, it really jumps out at me. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air compared to all that problem-focused stuff that we're always hearing about.
Right.
What's so special about this appreciation angle?
Well, yeah, you're definitely onto something there. Appreciative Inquiry, which is what AI is based on, is all about shifting our perspective.
Okay.
So like instead of focusing on what's wrong, we shine a light on what's actually working. And this helps us to discover this potential for innovation that's often missed,
That's interesting. The source material actually says, and I quote, "In less than 1 hour, a group of any size can generate a list of conditions that are essential for its success."
Wow.
That's pretty amazing. It's almost like a shortcut to rapid improvement.
Yeah.
Just by tapping into these success stories.
Exactly. And that's where the 5 structural elements come in, or the min-specs, as the source calls them.
Okay.
They're like a roadmap for conducting these interviews. And you might think that a process this powerful is super complicated, but it's actually surprisingly simple.
Okay, good. I got to admit, sometimes I get lost in the weeds with all these steps and instructions.
Right.
So walk me through these min-specs. Which one really stands out to you?
Well, for me, it's the emphasis on equal airtime.
Equal airtime.
Yeah, think about like those brainstorming sessions where the loudest voice always seems to dominate. AI flips the script. Everybody, no matter their, seniority level or their personality, gets an uninterrupted chance to share their success story. Yeah, it levels the playing field and unlocks a wealth of perspectives.
Yeah, I'm picturing this in action. People are feeling empowered to share the energy shifting towards the positive experiences.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating a space where success is contagious.
Yeah, you got it. And the beauty is that this whole process can unfold in under an hour.
Hold on, under an hour? Seriously?
Yeah.
That's less time than it takes me to get ready in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Are we talking rushed conversations, or are we really tapping into something valuable within that time frame?
It's all about focused exploration.
Yeah.
It's not rushing. The source material actually has a section on examples that show AI being used successfully in various settings in that short time frame. So you could apply this to a team project that you're having trouble with, and in an hour, you could have this list of conditions that are key to your success.
All right, now I'm really intrigued, but why bother with all this? What's in it for me?
Okay, well, the WHY purposes section in the course is really compelling, and it highlights benefits like breaking down those silos that exist on teams, and it talks about tapping into what they call tacit knowledge.
Ooh, I like that tacit knowledge.
Yeah.
It's like we're unlocking a hidden treasure chest of insights.
Yeah, exactly.
So how does AI actually help us to do that?
Well, by encouraging people to share their stories, AI gives a voice to that tacit knowledge. So instead of relying on assumptions or these abstract theories, we're grounding our understanding in real experiences.
Okay, so it's like weaving together a tapestry of success stories to reveal a bigger picture.
Precisely. And by focusing on these positive experiences, AI helps us to overcome that negativity bias that we all have.
Oh, yeah.
That tendency to always focus on the problems and what's not working.
Yeah.
It's like we're actually rewiring our brains for positivity and possibility.
Right. Now you're speaking my language, but let's be real. Sometimes those problems are staring us right in the face.
Yeah.
How does AI help us when things feel less than successful?
Yeah. Well, that's where the tips and traps section of the source material comes in handy.
Tips and traps.
Yeah, it's full of practical advice for navigating those situations.
Okay, give me an example. What's one tip that would really resonate with someone who's struggling with negativity?
Okay, well, one that comes to mind is about flipping negative themes into a search for even modest successes.
Okay.
So let's say you're feeling really overwhelmed by a project at work that just seems to be going nowhere.
Yeah, I've been there.
Instead of getting stuck in that negativity, that spiral AI encourages you to ask, what's one small thing that went well today?
I see. So it's like instead of seeing this mountain of problems, you're searching for those little nuggets of gold that are hidden within.
Exactly. And by focusing on those small wins, even if they seem really insignificant, you're shifting your perspective and opening yourself up to possibilities. It's like you're reminding yourself that even in challenging situations, there's always something to appreciate and build upon.
Okay, this is really making me rethink my whole approach to challenges.
Good.
And I'm loving how practical and applicable this all feels.
That's the beauty of AI. It's not just some theoretical concept. It's a tool that you can use in your everyday life to foster positive change.
Now, you mentioned tips and traps. Let's dive into a few more of those. I'm especially curious about the idea of giving a title to your partner's story. What's that all about?
Ah, that's a great one. You know how sometimes you hear a story, but it kind of goes in one ear and out the other?
Yeah.
Well, by giving a title to your partner's story, you're not just passively listening, you're actively engaging with their experience. You're forced to really listen and distill the essence of what they're saying.
So it's like you're creating a mental snapshot, a headline that captures the heart of their experience.
Precisely. And it shows the person sharing that you're truly listening and valuing their perspective.
Okay, I'm adding that to my toolbox of communication skills. Now, there's another tip that caught my eye. Noticing judgments and ideas about how to help, and then letting them go. That seems pretty counterintuitive. Why wouldn't we want to help someone who's struggling?
It's not about withholding help. It's about shifting our focus from fixing to understanding. Often when we hear someone share a challenge, we want to jump in with solutions.
Right.
But sometimes the best way to help is to simply listen without judgment, to create a space where they feel heard and understood.
That's deep. So it's more about being present and empathetic than coming up with a quick fix.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that sometimes people just need to be heard. And by letting go of our need to fix things, we allow them the space to process their own experience and find their own solutions.
Okay, I'm getting this whole listening without judgment thing.
Yeah.
But what happens when we've listened, we've appreciated, we've uncovered all these success stories? What then?
Yeah.
How do we turn all this positive energy into actual change?
Well, that's where AI really starts to shine. It's not just about feeling good, it's about taking action.
All right, let's talk action. What's the next step in this appreciative inquiry journey?
Okay, so remember that line from the source material we talked about earlier? Ask, how are we investing in the assets and conditions that foster success? And what opportunities do you see to do more? That's where the rubber meets the road.
So it's like we've planted these seeds of success and now it's time to nurture them.
Exactly. It's about creating this virtuous cycle where success breeds more success. By consciously nurturing those conditions, we create an environment where everybody can thrive.
Okay, I'm sold on the why, but I'm also a how person. Can you give me like a concrete example of how this plays out in real life?
Sure. The source material has some great examples. Let's say you're part of a team that's struggling with customer satisfaction.
Okay.
Instead of dwelling on the complaints, AI would encourage you to ask, what are those moments when we exceeded expectations? What made those interactions so successful?
Ah, I see where you're going with this. It's like flipping the script. Instead of focusing on the negative, you're digging for those golden nuggets of positive customer experiences.
Exactly. By analyzing those stories, you can identify patterns and strategies that can be replicated to improve the overall customer experience. It's like turning those sparks of success into a bonfire of positive change.
That's a great example. It makes me think about how we can use AI in education. The source material actually mentions using it for revising college courses. Imagine asking students and professors to share stories when a course or learning experience had a profound influence on their lives.
Wow.
What a powerful way to gather insights.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way to tap into the heart of education. Instead of focusing on what's not working, we're looking at those moments of genuine connection, inspiration, and growth. By identifying those conditions that foster these experiences, educators can design courses that are not only informative, but impactful.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like we're shifting from this teaching to the test mentality to a teaching for life approach.
Yes.
And it all starts by asking the right questions and listening to those success stories.
Precisely. And the beauty of AI is that it's not limited to any specific field or industry. It can be applied to any situation where people are working together, whether it's a team, a community, or even a family.
That's what I'm loving about this deep dive. It's so practical. It's not just theory. It's something we can all use to improve our lives.
Yeah, exactly. AI isn't just a corporate tool. It's a human tool. It's about tapping into the collective wisdom and experience of any group, regardless of its size or purpose. The key is to ask the right questions, create a safe space for sharing, and be open to the insights that emerge.
You know, earlier we were talking about those tips and traps.
Right.
And one that really struck a chord with me was the idea of giving a title to your partner's story.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a bit more? Why is that so important?
Okay, well, think about how our brains work. We're bombarded with information all the time.
Right.
And it's easy for things to kind of slip through the cracks. By giving a title to your partner's story, you're essentially creating a mental hook, a way to make their experience more memorable.
Ah, so it's like you're helping to crystallize their experience to give it more weight and meaning.
Precisely. And it's such a simple act that can have a profound impact on the way we listen and engage with others.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try that. It's like a little communication hack that can make a big difference.
Absolutely. And it ties back to that idea of active listening that we were talking about earlier. It's about being fully present with the speaker, paying attention not just to their words, but also to their emotions and the unspoken messages they're conveying.
It's about creating a space of empathy and understanding where genuine connection and insight can flourish. It makes me think about that other tip, noticing judgments and ideas about how to help, and then letting them go.
Right.
Sometimes it's so hard to resist jumping in with solutions, but I see how holding back can create a more receptive environment.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that sometimes the best way to help is to simply listen without judgment. By creating a space where people feel truly heard and understood, we allow them the space to process their own experiences and potentially find their own solutions.
It's about empowering others to tap into their own wisdom and resilience, rather than imposing our own solutions on them.
You got it. And that's a key principle of appreciative inquiry.
Hmm.
It's about recognizing the inherent strength and resources that exist within individuals and groups and creating the conditions for those strengths to flourish.
This has been so eye-opening. I'm starting to see how AI can be applied to so many different aspects of life, from work to relationships to personal growth.
It truly is a versatile approach.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, the beauty of AI is that it's not about achieving some kind of perfect state.
Right.
It's about continuous learning and growth. It's about embracing this mindset of appreciation and possibility.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired, but I also want to be realistic. We've talked about the benefits of AI, but let's address the elephant in the room. What about those times when things are really tough, when it feels like there's nothing to appreciate? How can AI help us in those situations?
It's a great question, and it brings up a really important point about AI. It's not about ignoring problems or sugarcoating things.
Right.
It's about shifting your perspective so that you can even find the smallest glimmers of hope or success, even when things are really difficult.
So it's like searching for those tiny diamonds in the rough. Those moments that maybe we wouldn't have noticed before, but they actually hold the key to moving forward.
Exactly. Remember that tick that we discussed about flipping negative themes into a search for even just modest successes? That's especially relevant in those challenging times. So let's say you're dealing with a major setback at work. Instead of dwelling on all the negative aspects of it, AI encourages you to ask, what did I learn from this experience? Or what's one small step I can take today to move forward?
So it's like instead of seeing a dead end, you're looking for a detour, a new path that you might not have seen before.
Precisely. And by focusing on those small wins, you're shifting your energy from despair to possibility. It's like planting a seed of hope and giving it a chance to grow.
Okay, I'm starting to see how AI can be like a really powerful tool for navigating those tough times.
Yeah.
But let's get practical. For someone who's totally new to AI, what's a good first step? Where should they start?
Start by reflecting on a recent success that you've had. It could be something small or big, personal or professional. And once you have that success in mind, ask yourself, what were the conditions that made that success possible? What were the things that maybe I overlooked?
It's like reverse engineering your own success story to find those hidden ingredients.
Exactly. By identifying those conditions, you can start to see patterns and create a blueprint for future success. And remember, it's not just about replicating those conditions. It's about understanding why they worked and how you can adapt them to new situations.
So it's about taking those insights and actually putting them into action. That reminds me of that line from the source material.
Yeah.
Ask, how are we investing in the assets and conditions that foster success? And what opportunities do you see to do more? It's like we're going from reflection to actually doing something.
Absolutely. AI is not just a passive process of inquiry. It's about taking what we've learned and using it to make positive change in your life and in the world around you.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've got this whole new set of tools for approaching challenges and creating positive change.
Remember, the power of appreciation is always available to you.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to focus on the good, even when things are tough.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you open up a world of possibilities.
Well, folks, there you have it. Appreciative Interviews. A simple yet powerful approach to unlocking your potential and creating a more positive future. So go out there, embrace the power of appreciation, and watch your successes bloom. It's easy to focus on the positive when things are going well.
Right.
But what about those times when you're facing an uphill battle?
Yeah.
Does AI have anything to offer when it feels like there's nothing to appreciate?
Well, that's a great question, and it brings up an important point about AI. It's not about, ignoring problems or just trying to pretend they're not there. It's about looking at things from a different angle so you can find those glimmers of hope or success even when it's really tough.
So it's like looking for those little diamonds in the rough, those moments that we might have overlooked that actually hold the key to moving forward.
Exactly. And remember that tip we talked about, flipping those negative themes into a search for even small successes? That's really important in those challenging times. So let's say you've had a big setback at work. Instead of dwelling on all the negative stuff, AI encourages you to ask, what did I learn from this experience? What's one little thing I can do today to keep going?
It's like instead of hitting a dead end, you're looking for a detour,
Yeah,
a new path that you might not have seen before.
exactly. And by focusing on those small wins, you're taking your energy from despair to possibility. It's like you're planting a seed of hope.
Okay, I can see how AI can be a really powerful tool when things are rough.
Yeah.
But let's get practical. For someone who's brand new to AI, what's a good first step?
Well, I would say start by thinking about a success you've had recently. It could be big or small, personal or professional. And then once you've got that success in mind, ask yourself, what made that happen? What were those things that I might have overlooked that actually contributed to that success?
So to reverse engineering your success to find those hidden ingredients.
Exactly. By identifying those conditions, you'll start to see patterns, and you can use those to create a roadmap for future success. And remember, it's not just about trying to do the same things over and over again. It's about understanding what worked and how you can adapt those things to new situations.
So it's about taking those insights and putting them into action. It reminds me of that line from the source material. Ask, how are we investing in the assets and conditions that foster success? And what opportunities do you see to do more? It's like moving from just thinking about things to actually making them happen.
Absolutely. AI is not just sitting around and thinking. It's about taking what you've learned and actually using it to make a difference in your life and the lives of people around you.
This has been such an amazing deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much.
I'm glad.
And I've got these brand new tools for dealing with challenges and making positive changes.
Yeah, and remember, the power of appreciation is always there. You just have to choose to focus on the good, even when things are tough. And when you do that, it opens up so many new possibilities.
Well, that's it for today, folks. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive into appreciative interviews. It's a simple but powerful approach to achieving your potential and creating a brighter future.
I agree.
So remember, go out there, find those things to appreciate, even the small ones, and watch those successes grow. See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.